American capitalism and the project of globalization is founded on the creation of and exploitation and destruction of marginalized communities. For 500 years, the indigenous people of Mexico and of the greater North and South American continents have been fighting to maintain their traditional ways of life. In Chiapas, on the same day that NAFTA was enacted, an armed rebellion took hold. The voices of the Tzotziles and the Choles, Tojobales, and the mestizos alike rose up and were heard around the world. That's from a paper I wrote on the Zapatistas of Chiapas. There they are. And the reason I read you part of my paper today is because the book we're going to be talking about on the Books That Matter is The Story of the Colors, and in Spanish, La Historia de los Colores. And this book, first published in 1996 by Colectivo something Callejero, and then translated and published in 1999 by Cinco press. But this book was written by Subcomandante Marcos. He was the one of these an officer, commander in the Ejército Zapatista de Liberación Nacional, otherwise known as the EZLN. And he was a spokesman. That was his primary function. And he was an eloquent speaker. And he really captured the imagination of the public of Mexico and around the world, because their rebellion was one that people understood was just, because they were actually fighting against neoliberalism, policies of modernity, where only some would rise and the rest of the world's populations were being left behind. Trade deals that affected the people in negative ways. Trade deals that were not weren't strong enough on environmental protections and workers' rights and pay, different things like that. And so he wrote a book called, The Story of the Colors, and it's a really beautiful story describing how the world came to have colors, and of course it involves the gods. And in this story, the gods are they're kind of like us. They're quarrelsome, and they're lazy at times, but they're also inspired and seeking to change the world. And so, they go out and they bring about and I won't say much more actually, because I don't want to give away the story, but like I said, it's a children's book, you could say, but it's really just a story for all ages. And the paintings in it are really, beautiful. I don't want to use the overword, but this whole book is just awesome. And yeah, there's some pretty cool images. I would also say that the moral that I took away from this story is that there's all kinds of different people in the world, and we may have different backgrounds and different things, arbitrary things like skin color,